spider guard. The thing about the spider guard that's important is that we have our foot, just come this way a little bit, that we have our foot in the bicep and we have the grip on the sleeve. Now, I know that sounds kind of obvious, but there's usually something that you've got to get good at first before you make the guard, you know, all the sweeps work. Like, for example, half guard. It's hard to make the half guard work unless you, for most of the stuff, get the underhook first. So you've got to get good at winning the underhook first to get good at half guard. It's obviously, there's some exceptions, there's some things you can do with an overhook, but mostly that's the thing you've got to get good at first. If you're not getting good at that, then you can have 15 underhook, half guard sweeps, and you're going to find that they're not going to be very good for you. See, there's some little thing with every guard. With the butterfly guard, I think it's really good to get hold of the belt. That way you can stop the guy running around long enough to, you know, set up different sweeps and do things. Close guard, you want to get good at breaking them down. If you break them down, we did the Valetudo guard last time, Jeff. Yes. Right, you know, so you break the guy down. Now with spider guard, you've got to be good at getting that sleeve and putting your foot in his bicep and holding it there. And so you might spend a while doing that, you know, a couple of months just getting good at that, so you know no matter what, you can always do that. And if you do that, then you can get good at doing the sweeps. So when I work with my son on this, again, and he's a great example because he's not training a lot, and you know, if you can get someone like that to do it, and it's effective on people, it's really easy. But all he did for a couple of months is he did no sweeps and no attacks. All he did was just get that foot in that arm, and then when he'd lose it, he'd get it back there, and it just became so that he got seriously confident about being able to grab your arm and put his foot in the bicep no matter what. His problem then is he's not doing anything with it, right? He's just going, ha ha, you can't pass, which I think is very cool. Like that's good enough. But now that he's good enough at that, it's like, okay, stop doing it. It's time to actually do something with this position that you've got. Like you're able to get the mount, you know, at will and keep it, and no one can get rid of you. All right, that's enough. Time to do something with it. You know, try to attack from the mount. Whereas if you do it the other way around, let's learn all these attacks from the mount. That doesn't help you get to the mount and keep it, and you actually won't be doing any of them. So it seems kind of weird, almost boring, almost overtly obvious that you need to get the position first and be able to hold it. And that's the thing with seminars or you buy some guy's DVD set on De La Riva guard. The problem is that's not how he developed it. He developed it by just getting that De La Riva hook, holding it for 15 seconds. Next night, getting the De La Riva hook and holding it for 25 seconds, and doing that process for 6 months until no one could stop him getting the De La Riva hook, and then he figured out how to do one sweep. And then you counted that sweep, so he went, shit, he actually said shit, and then he'd come up with sweep number 2. And then over 2 or 3 years, 5 years, he developed the game. And then he puts it all together and you start flicking through which sweep. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem. So although we're going to do this great little plan, it is still dependent upon how confident you are at getting the sleeve and getting the grip there. Okay, so we're going to start like this with my foot in the bicep. My spider guard foot tonight will be the left one. You're going to have these grips here. Later on, it might be this grip here, might be this grip here, might be a grip on his pants, but that's the most important point. So we're going to start with 2. Now, the most basic spider guard move, I'm pretty sure we've done this, is when we move around here and do that move. Who's done that sweep? All right, so it's a common sweep. It used to be common. It used to be the first spider guard sweep. And the reason it was the first spider guard sweep is because when you've got that, and Darren doesn't know anything, and he starts walking around that way, it's then easy. That's kind of why. So I guess it was good against people who didn't know spider guard, but when I do that to him, he doesn't want to, he'll do that. He'll even stay just in front of me. Now I can't make that sweep work from here. I just don't feel I've got any power. It only starts to work when slowly go that way, when my foot, or Darren and my foot really, comes past that centre line. Now it feels like I've got something. But even if he's just in front of me, I don't think I can sweep him down. Now, it's not working. So we're going to start to work this strategy. And the good thing about it is it's kind of like one move, one idea, irrespective of where he is, which I really like that. Okay. So we're going to get this foot, and basically we're going to drag him forward that way, which is way stronger than going that way. Okay. And the idea of it, think of it like a front sweep. It's not left and right, which I thought spider guard was all this thing that happened out in front of you for a long time. I want you to pull him over your left ear. Okay. So how you're going to do that is you put your other foot on the ground. It's got nothing to do with this leg. It's all about this leg and your hip coming up. Okay, so watch my hip and my right leg. That's what's going to drag him there. I straighten my right leg up in the air behind his leg. Because all I want to do with spider guard is get hold of this leg, somehow. Now he'll get back up on his elbow and knee, here like that, but that's what I've got. I've got hold of this leg here. Now the original idea from here was pretty simple, a technical stand-up. Up on my elbow, back on my knees, up on my feet, and I've got him. All right, that's the original idea. I'm going to give you a way better way to do it than that. But the idea is that we're using our spider guard foot to drag him forward so we can grab that leg there. Irrespective of whether he's up on that leg, or standing up. It's going to be this one plan that we're going to get really good at. Okay, so watch. Foot there, other foot on the ground. Drag him over my left ear so that this leg goes out the back. I straighten it up in the air. His leg comes down on here. He'll get back up to his knees. That's okay, just stay here. Next, we're going to pass his guard now. We're going to move our hip away. Put the foot through there like an X guard. Not your knee, just our foot. Then take the foot off the spider foot off the bicep, kick that away, and we get out there right. Okay. Rather than, taking the risk and going for the technical stand-up. Okay? We're going to do that first. Thanks, Darren. That's that idea. It's like hook sweep, right? Or X guard. Get underneath the guy. It doesn't all happen out in front of you like a movie. You've got to get underneath him. So I remember when I was first learning spider guard, I really did think it was all happening out in front of me, and that's what made it not work. Now, of course, there's some exceptions to that. There are some catapult sweeps and some different things where it does happen out there, but that's not the heart of the idea. You want to get underneath him, but what's really happening is you're dragging him over, you're giving you the same concept. So I think of it much more like a front sweep. Okay. So up on the other foot. It's slightly better if Darren ends up standing up on his left foot. So yeah, because that just makes this like, you see what I'm saying? Put it back down. If he stood up on his right foot, well, he better watch out for the other one. But I don't really care. I still just do the same one. All right. But but most people that are in the spider guard, the average thing would be for them to actually stand up on that foot, because he feels that, especially if you kind of start doing that a little bit, it makes him feel danger that side, and we go, oh, that's just so much better. You see, to get the thing. All right? All right, so now he's going to stand all the way up, which is the most common reaction, because he just doesn't like being that way. He doesn't like the feeling of what's happening here. So he stands all the way up on his feet. This is even better. So now it's really easy for me to don't fall down. I thought you would do that. It's your palmy genes. Okay. So he's going to stay up, but this is going to pull him forward. It's going to make him step forward. See? So what was our original plan? To pull him forward so we could do what? Grab that leg? We're going to grab that leg, but we're going to grab that leg with this knee instead of our hand, right? So we're here. So now he's not getting it away. My knee's behind. Okay? He tries to get it away, he's stuck there. Now, our right foot comes through, just like we did. So you see it's almost the same, The only real difference is, not that, we use our knee to grab it, and that's there. Now he tries to get away, we're stuck there, holding him here until we can grab the foot, and then we just back sweep him. That's it. Back sweep. Simple. But the idea was the same in that we dragged him forward. So he's down there, he stands up, drag him forward, grab that leg. Thread the foot through there. You don't need this for the sweep. You only need this here when you eventually can't get that leg, and it gives you a segue into X guard. Okay, but that would be fine. But that just feels a bit better. And plus, sometimes you can lift him up with that foot, you know, and elevate him over your head. So it's just good to have it there. And now when he's trying to get this out, you stay here, stay here. Oh, there it is. Oh, I'll grab it. Thank you. And then you just take him back. Take your feet out. Come on, keeping his feet there. Okay? Really simple. Do you see it's the same? So what's the only difference? We're still dragging him forward. We're still grabbing that leg. So what's the difference? How would you explain it to me?
Yeah.
We're grabbing that leg with the knee instead of the arm. That's really essentially the only difference to what we're trying to do with the sweep, which I like that idea. It's like, you know, one recipe to cook 8 things. You know, it's like this one concept is very clear, like one brake in your car. All right, let's do it. Let's go. Even if he's running backwards. All right, so you can, as long as you lift him here, it's going to be really difficult for him to stop getting the foot. So if you keep your tail on the ground, that's going to run out of power right about there. So you've got to let that hip come up. Okay, let's go again. Drag him straight over your head, go. Boom. And now catch him with your right knee. Don't let go with your hand. Look, if you lose that hand for a second, it doesn't matter too much, because what's he going to do with that hand? He's going to grab you somewhere, and then, oh, he was looking for something on the roof. That was funny. Okay, if he does that, I don't know what to do. But if he grabs you down there, just re-grab. Good job. Make sure your knees blocking them really well. Good. Now thread the right foot through like an X guard. Good. Now, most of the time, you don't have to do anything else. They will give you their other foot just in an effort to get away, right? But if they don't, curl up, like bring both feet over your face, like do a crunch, and their foot will come forward, grab it, and then back sweeping. Go, boof. That's it. All right? Again, we talk you through that at least one more time, and then away you go. Spider. They stand up. Drag him over your head. Catch him with your right knee. Well, you catch him with your elbow and your knee, right? And then thread the X guard through. And then do a crunch. And then grab their foot and go finish. All right, away you go. He keeps advancing this foot if anything, and I can't get the other leg. If he's square on, no problem. Even if he's square on and running away, not much of a problem. This is the problem right now. Okay, so now we're going to do that. Okay. You know De La Riva hook and reverse De La Riva hook. So that's called reverse De La Riva hook. Let me just talk about that for a second. Put your foot there. Okay. The first, not right there, Darren. Okay. Pass to the north. The De La Riva hook, the first trouble really I had, I've never really played De La Riva much, but the trouble I had even learning De La Riva techniques was that I didn't move my hip. My foot is trying to go there, and you see, and there's a big space, it just doesn't look right. So the first really simple thing to understand about De La Riva hook is your hip has to be on the outside of his foot one way or the other. So if I put my right hip on the outside of Darren's foot, in other words, I can see his foot here, then you get a nice De La Riva hook this way. If you put your hip on this side, then you'll get a good De La Riva hook that side. So the first thing that you want to do with De La Riva hook is get your hip there or there. Okay, this way here for the classic, and this way here for what's called the reverse. And you see there should be no space between my foot and his foot. So no space, no space, no space, no space, no space, no space, no space. All the way is connected like a grapevine, which is what we used to call it prior to De La Riva being branded the De La Riva hook. It was just called the grapevine. Okay, reverse grapevine, normal grapevine. But the problem I had was I didn't move my hip and I'm going, my legs are too short, that's not for me, I'll do crucifix, you know. And that's a big mistake. It's always a mistake because it's never you, it's always just the angle, you know, or something like that. So, we've got him here and he's moved back, and so what we're going to do is move our hip a little bit here, and we're going to see which way I need to move my hip to the other side of his foot so that I can see it down here with my eyes, and then my right foot come round like that. Now our right hand comes in between his foot and my body, and we invert. And do the, it used to have a name a long time ago, I forget the name. Some name, who cares? I've got 10 names. It's called harpoon or some strange thing. It's irrelevant. Alright, so I'm here, one. What's the situation for a start? Because if it's that, awesome. What's the situation? See, right? But to do that, he really has to commit his foot, like this foot's fighting and planted there. So it kind of makes it easy to do that. This holds it long enough to do that, and now you invert, and the power doesn't come from here. Once again, it's our good old right leg that's doing the work. Simples. Let's do it. I'm not going to go like this. Pat, got to grab me. Thanks, Pat. Right, that's what we're going to do. Or you can even do this one. He can show me. Like, it's stupid, it's competition kind of things. But put your hands here, or you can even do this under here, because then you can't leg drag. You can pull your legs and it doesn't work so well. Okay, because you're a ball. Okay. So here's to come for you, and that's when you get it, and then there you go. So what's essentially the idea? Throw him over your head and grab that leg. So if he's down, you grab it with your shoulder and do a technical stand-up. If he's up, you grab it with your knee and do a back sweep. And the only reason I want to do sweep number 3 is he's just being stubborn. He's just really denying me that whole game. So then we have to invert, go under there and invert by getting up on our shoulder and pulling with our arm and going in there.